Hello, everyone. I'm back today with a person who's different from most of us. He is a successful experimenter in multiple things. So it's worth listening to him. Right now, we have with us Gaurav Singh. Let's listen to him. Over to you, Gaurav.
Thank you, sir. It's a great opportunity to talk to you and also tell my story. I write about a lot of things, primarily on LinkedIn and in reports that I write for my clients. But I don't usually talk about myself, what my story is. I like to talk about things, the ideas, the places, all those things. But somehow I don't speak about myself. But today, I thank you very much for this opportunity. So, sir, I come from a farming family. Uh, a majority of our population is from farming. So I come from a very typical farming family. I've seen my parents, my cousins, my even my grandfather do agriculture. So I come from that reality. Somehow, when I was doing my 12th, we call it intermediate in UP. In Uttar Pradesh, it's called intermediate education. So that time, somehow my father was able to arrange funds for my coaching, and I was lucky to get into IIT. There, uh, so my initial learning was the stories that I learned. I read in books, whatever I could access, and the old people, they used to tell stories of the times they had seen. So through my grandfather, I used to hear a lot of stories of what happened in 60s, the kind of India it was, the problems the society faced, the farmers faced. So I had a lot of understanding of the times my elder people had come through, the struggles they had seen. So I was not good. Like I was decent in studies. My parents made an effort to send me for IIT coaching. Then I was lucky to get into IIT. There, it opened a lot of horizons for me. I used to love reading. Then I had at IIT I had the access to great library. I had access. I was living with people, some really smart people from all walks of life, from cities, from rural areas, from south, north, all kinds of. So that really opened horizons for me. So for a typical person coming from north, typical Hindi heartland, I used to have a fascination to get into administrative services, UPSC. Like any other boy from Hindi heartland, I also had the desire to get into UPSC. But when I got into IIT, that changed my perception. I started reading from economics to political science. I could access all kinds of information. So then my idea of the life changed. I decided to explore things instead of getting into uh, a framework that was designed, and you had to cross it one after the another, like one round after the other. So I decided to like explore life individually. Whatever comes, I'll figure out. I'll not live a predetermined life. So that was like so idea that shaped the person that I became over time. So after college, I experimented with things. First thing that I did was technology development thing that I started. In when I was in third year, I was developing a language learning platform.
Mhm.
So the idea was if you are from Europe or India, you can learn languages. So I was able to develop a module where you could learn Hindi from any of the European language.
Okay.
So it was pre-mobile era. I'm talking about 2009-10. That
Yeah.
time there was no funding, no mobile applications were
No.
there. So it was a different framework. The technology was at a different stage, and I developed that module, but funding was not available. So then I got into consulting. So that was technology and innovation consulting. I worked with all kinds of clients on technology scouting, figuring out R&D strategies, uh, making research collaborations in academia, in industry. So that is where I started my life as a professional. And then I got into venture research, working with a firm where we used to do a lot of market research, where how the different technologies are emerging and the kind of impact, economic impact, business impact they will have. So from there, I got it. Like, so after some time, I was done with it. Then I decided I want to get into policy side of the things. So I had good understanding of technology. Then I got into some business understanding, business finance related things. Then public policy. So for last 5, 6 years, I have been in working in public policy domain. I have advised some state governments, worked with some central government agencies on program design, implementation. I have also worked with multiple think tanks, writing like contributing to their articles uh, on agriculture, before that other policy issues. So for me, like from tech to business and finance and then policy, it is the trifecta that makes the complete understanding for me. Then, sir, around 2019, I got my first assignment in AgriTech. AgriTech startup was looking for somebody who could help them set up in internal capacities to deal with the policy issues and deal with government bureaucracy, because like agri is a new sector, agri-tech is a new sector, new companies, new people were coming. The traditional bureaucracy of agriculture was harassing them a lot. So they reached out, like the founder, somehow I knew the founder, he reached out and I started working with him on developing internal capabilities so that he could deal with those issues related to like how to deal with the bureaucracy, or what kind of processes and systems should be in check. So then from that time, I have dedicated a lot of time on agri-tech. So for me, like any traditional farming family would not want their son to get into agriculture. So my family also had some role in making sure that I was never exposed to things happening at my family. I never participated in any of those things. They wanted me to do something and get out of agriculture and figure out my own life. But when I got my first assignment in agri-tech, then for me, like agri-tech, I found very interesting. I had seen things. Then when I started working professionally in agriculture, then like for me, that was a great Eureka moment. Like agri has some involvement of technology. Agri-tech has some involvement of technology. It has some business understanding that is required. Then also a lot of policy involvement. The whole agriculture is very much determined by the policy of the uh, government, how the rules are there. So for me, like it was a perfect assignment. Then when after this assignment, I've done all kinds of things in agriculture, in agri-tech. So agri value chain is kind of like for agriculture is an ecosystem play. So I have spent a good amount of time in understanding how this ecosystem plays out. So if I can give you a brief on how this value chain is like, agriculture, like it's, we see a lot of farmer, but I think like through my work and what I like through the that I was able to put things in perspective, and it is very important that people realize what agriculture is.
Yeah.
Like there are two opposing ends of this. Like on one end, we have people who think farmer is a burden on economy, on society, on the nation.
Hmm.
On one hand, people who say like farmer does this and farmer should be entitled for this. So these are two ends of the debate, and many things get lost in between those people. Like these are two extreme ends,
Hmm.
and I'm not saying like nobody is wrong. Like maybe nobody is wrong, but for a general person, it is important that they have some understanding of how agriculture is and what is the condition of farmers.
Hmm.
So, so agriculture from the perspective of activity, from the perspective of activity is primarily divided in the whole value chain of agriculture is divided into three segments.
Hmm.
First is input side of the agriculture,
Hmm.
where like a farmer needs a lot of things that go into production, from pesticide to fertilizer, seed, tractor, machinery, finance, insurance. All these things are required so that farmer can produce something. So that is the agri input side. The
Yeah.
second is farming itself. A farmer, when he does farming, he has to take care of a lot of things. Farming for a farmer today, farming is as complex as running a business. He has to take care of different inputs that will go. He
Hmm.
has to manage labor. He has to manage finances. Then he must have some idea of what kind of crop he must sow, what kind of crops he should grow, so that he gets some economic benefit out of it. He
Yeah.
makes money. So he has to understand market. He has to take care of weather. Weather is difficult, but he has to manage it. He is at the mercy of all these things. So his planning is as complex as running an industry.
Hmm.
Uh, so that is the second part where the farming happens.
Hmm.
During farming, he needs advice, he needs supervision, he may need machines. So that is the middle part, the farming. Then after harvest happens, that is post harvest till the uh, product reaches the consumers. So
Yeah.
this is like activity wise, the this is the whole value chain of agriculture.
Yeah.
In this value chain, there are multiple ecosystem players. Uh, Apart from farmers, rest of the value chain is very organized.
Yes.
Very organized. Farmers are not organized. They are in huge number. They are a very large number, but they are completely unorganized. But on input side, from pesticide companies to insecticide companies to companies manufacturing to producing seeds, other things, they are organized.
Yeah.
They have competition, but they also have platforms where they do a lot of collaboration. They have think tanks, they have industry pressure groups, they have a unified voice in front of the government. And I had the pleasure of working with multiple think tanks and agri industry bodies in the in input side, on output side.
Hmm.
So they are very organized. Then farmer issues are really complex. Like when people simplify that finance will solve the problem of farmers, more credit will solve the problem of farmers, is not that easy. Agriculture is not an economic, like a simple business problem.
Hmm.
It is more than that. It is more than a financial or credit problem. It is in India, the farming is kind of fundamental occupation in India. More than 60% of our population is directly
Hmm.
involved in agriculture.
Hmm.
So it is a socio-economic phenomena, and we'll have to, like, whatever solution that we try to find for agriculture will have to be broad enough
Hmm.
They should incorporate many kind of things. Something happening in north may not be good for the south, for the people living, for the farmer in south. So the framework, the a policy, or whatever solution we try to craft for agriculture have to be broad enough. It should incorporate voices, it should incorporate the desire, the aspirations of the people. It should really look into, it should take a deeper look into the problems of the farmers in different regions. The problems are different. So on the post-harvest side, where the whole processing, the warehousing, the processing, the distribution happen, there too the companies are very well organized uh, through industry, through forums. They are well organized. They have all kinds of mechanisms to deal with each other, to interact, to collaborate, also compete. So farmer is somehow tied in between these two ends of the value chain.
Okay.
So yes, uh, so laws or anything. So that is why, like, I think agriculture should remain a state focus. Making central laws may be very difficult, because something good for north may not be good for south, something good for south may not be. So each state should take care of its own issues, build policies, programs according to the needs of local societies. Making one nation, one agriculture is difficult. Like, it may happen after 50 or 70 years or 100 years, but today is not the time where we are at that stage.
Okay. Right. All right. Let's continue. It's very fascinating.
So, sir, one more thing, like, so because I come from a farmer family, I can understand, like, I have lived through those problems. I may not be able to express those things. I may not tell those things, but farming life, farming family, community has so many problems. And in today's time, when like, and farmers are important for like farmers are important because we have seen this during the COVID time, when the whole society, the whole nation was under siege, the farmers were able to feed the whole nation.
Yeah.
We were even supporting multiple other countries as well. So food security is at the foundation of national security, and we can't deny that. And the second is the real security, the real fighting men of this country come from farming families
Yeah.
in most cases.
Yeah.
So they are contributing not just the food security, they are contributing to the real security of the nation.
Yeah.
Most can,
Sorry to interrupt, but I'm
yeah.
old enough to remember Prime Minister Shastri
Yes, sir.
saying Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan. And that's what you are saying.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And they come from the same stock.
Yes.
In our areas, farming and forces is the two occupation
Right.
people have.
Right.
They are not trained to do accounting. They are
Yeah.
not trained to do anything else. They
Yeah.
are tough lot. They can either do hard work in their fields, or they can go and fight for the nation. So these communities are important.
Yeah.
And if we look at these communities through only economic and business prism, we'll be making a big disservice to our nation, to the whole society. If we start like seeing this as a simple business problem, economic problem, that we want to make our nation uh, developed, or this kind of growth or that kind of growth, but leaving farming and farmers behind will be a great, the results may not be visible today, they will be visible after 5 years, 10 years.
Yeah.
So the kind of so in the value chain, the kind of consolidation has happened on the input side
Yeah.
and the output side.
Yes.
There's a lot of consolidation that has happened over last 30 years of economic liberalization.
Yeah.
Those things have so economy has grown. The people manning the positions to choke the economy has also grown.
Yeah.
Few people, few groups can choke the whole economic activity. So the idea, so farmer can do two things primarily. Like they will right now to do agriculture, they have to take care of a lot of things.
Yeah.
They are already doing a lot of complex planning when they are because they are not protected by anything. No policy or nothing is protecting them. People may have idea that farmers are eating up the subsidy of this nation. They have become a burden on the economy. But like that is very wrong perception. Ultimately, the whatever subsidy that is visible on paper is ultimately reaching the corporate. Because so the real condition of farmer is not improving across the nation. So ultimately, if the fertilizer subsidy or subsidy in any form is ultimately reaching to the different back to the corporate sector, it is not benefiting the farmer or the villages. The condition of villages, the condition of people living in villages is not very is not something that gives confidence to us. People like me, it's easy to write something in English media. You can manage narrative on uh, social media, but there is reality. Somebody has to scratch the surface and look through that to find the reality. So if let's say if we focus completely on growth, GDP, corporatization, the economic building, and leaving farmers behind will be a great problem. It will be a great social issue that may not come today, may not come up in 10 years, because the wheel of society turns very slowly. The change, the whatever happens it happens very slowly. So the idea is the farmer should be able to do two things. He is already doing a lot of work when he is growing the crop. He should from his he should think more as a capitalist. He's still farmer is still living in socialist mental framework. So he should start behaving more like a lala, more like a capitalist, and think differently. He should think differently. Then, if he starts thinking differently, his method to compete and collaborate both will change.
Okay.
He in some way they are like families, societies, rural villages. They are collaborating and competing, but they are still in socialist mindset.
Yeah.
They have to learn more of finance, or they should have a better understanding of money.
Yeah.
The psychology of money, how the money works, how the capitalist systems work. They may not be they are not going to compete with the trading class.
Yeah.
But they will have a better they will be better able to plan. They will be able better able to manage their well-being in capitalist economy.
Yeah.
The second is they should teach their children more. They should aspire to make even if they get back into farming, but they should learn. They should explore more. If they can't do it physically, they should do it through internet or through whatever study or whatever method they can find, they need to explore more world
Mm.
through technology. Like they should train their kids in technology. They should train them in economics or accountancy, in finance. They may come back to agriculture, or they may find their calling in the different field, but it will help them, their society, their families. So these are the two things that I have found like are fundamental to improve the condition of farmers, their
Mm.
families,
Mm.
and overall society.
Okay, wonderful. Okay. Anything else you want to tell us?
Uh, so, I try to stay connected with the so I even if like if today I take any sign, I don't take much work. Only if something falls into my interest area, or so what I do is like take work that keeps me closer to the rural ecosystem,
So you're
help
self-employed
me
now?
understand.
You're
Sir?
self-employed? You are
Yes, sir.
working for yourself. You don't have a
Yes,
job.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I don't have a job. I don't work for any consult. Like, so I take independent assignment.
Mm-hmm.
Over the years, I've been able to build a ecosystem of people, and so through that, some kind of work keeps coming.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Uh, Primarily in consulting, like type of work where some company is facing some issues, or they need to collaborate with somebody or some other company. They need to find partners. So that kind of work I do.
Okay, wonderful. All right. Anything else you want to add here?
So primarily, sir, so I wanted to focus more on agriculture. My fundament. So apart from this, I have a message for young people studying
Yeah,
in colleges.
yeah,
Uh, so they should experiment more. They should not be afraid of failure.
yeah.
They should take more risk.
Mm,
They may fail,
mm,
but the whole their own perspective will improve. Their life, family,
mm.
their society will improve when we take risk, and we should take care of our health.
Okay.
Two things they should take care.
Okay. All right. Well, let me say that I found one point of yours as very much resonating with me, and that is that agriculture has to be dealt with by the state government.
Yes, sir.
It is actually, I mean, you said you told your grandfather told you stories. Well, I was around at that time. So at that time, I think it was quite important to have the central government, the union government in charge, even though the state was there, but the state governments actually couldn't do it. And so what we have is that even though agriculture is listed as a state subject in the constitution, the union government still thinks it's responsible. Okay. And people think that it is still responsible. But this is outdated and not workable anymore and not efficient, as you rightly pointed out. I mean, what rightly pointed out, I agree with you that it is not the way forward. It is not the way forward. We don't have a food shortage production. We have poor people who are not fully who are still hungry, but that's not a production issue. It's a distribution issue. We are not able to get the food to the people. We are exporters. I mean,
Yes.
look, I lived at a time when we couldn't get food to eat.
Yes.
Prime Minister Shastri said, please don't eat grains on Monday night because we don't have enough food. So today the world has changed, but the mentality is not changed. That
We are
look,
still that scarcity mentality of scarcity is still there
and
in the people.
and the idea that the prime minister must do it. No, those days are gone. The prime minister was needed at that time. I fully agree. And we got the green, you're talking about insecticides, pesticides, all these things. We did not know all this. Okay. The farmers did not know all this. This green revolution technology was brought in. It was a foreign technology. The prime minister had to do it. We needed the help. We needed the agricultural extension, but as you said, we set up a bureaucracy that is now harassing the farmers. It was supposed to help. It did help. We did become food secure within 15 years, I would say. And within 30 years, we were food exporters, right? So that part has worked. But as you rightly said, the majority of farmers have been left behind.
Yes.
Okay. So we have a crazy situation where we have food surplus, but income short for majority of the farmers.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And sir, so I'll have some more.
Yeah.
Sir, so in a way, we have to, as a nation, we have to decide what road we want to take, what philosophy we want to put behind our nation that governs this country, its people. So if you look at the economics of India, since the time of independence, the industrial production and the farm production, it has been the state policy, uh, like it has never been stated publicly, but if you see the value, the prices of farm products have been kept suppressed artificially. They have not grown. So let's say at the time of 47, at the time of independence, whatever the produce we were making, and the price of it, and the comparable industrial goods. So through policy, we have allowed to suppress the farm produce prices so that the industrial production can improve. And this has been the policy, like constantly the prices and the contribution of agriculture in economy has been coming down. The growth of economy has not benefited, has not reached to the villages.
Yeah.
So will, as a nation, now is the time that we decide like what kind of life, what kind of environment we want to give to our citizens.
Okay. All right. It's a very powerful statement. Thank you for making it. I hope somebody is listening to it. I'm glad you've taken this channel. Anything else you want to add here?
So, sir, we all make this great nation, and it is our duty to make it better.
Okay. All right.
So, let's whatever is my capacity, I am trying to do that.
Okay.
I'm trying to do it on two fronts. I have a small family. I take care of it with all my capability, and whatever time or education I have, that with that I try to do something good.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. I'll talk to you offline about that. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Right. So let's end it here. And I'll be back with another young person or an expert like Gaurav soon. Till then, bye, everybody.
Namaskar, sir. Thank you.